For nearly 2 years, Kanak pro-independence leader Christian Tein faced criminal charges that took him thousands of kilometres from his home in New Caledonia and placed him at the centre of one of France's most closely watched investigations. Now, a Paris court has thrown out the case against Tein and 13 others, citing insufficient evidence, fueling debate over how France applies the democratic standards it promotes abroad. The case stemmed from the May 2024 unrest in New Caledonia, which began over proposed changes to voter eligibility rules. The protests later turned violent, leaving 14 people dead and prompting France to declare a state of emergency, deploy security forces, and transfer dozens of detained Kanaks to mainland France. At the time, Tein led the Field Action Coordinating Group, known as CCAT, which had been created by a pro-independence party. Prosecutors alleged that the group operated as an organised structure seeking to destabilise New Caledonia's public services, administration and economy. The case included serious allegations linked to complicity in attempted murder, destruction of property and armed theft. However, the court found no concrete evidence that Tein had coordinated violence, including through secret contacts, messages or phone calls. This made the length of the process central to the controversy. If the core accusations could not be proven, why did the investigation last 576 days? Critics argue that a long investigation, detention far from home, and public accusations can become a form of pressure even without a conviction, especially when directed at a leading pro-independence figure. That makes Tein's case more than a criminal proceeding. It is also tied to France's handling of independence demands in its overseas territories. Critics argue that France can present itself as a defender of democratic values, while using legal and administrative tools to pressure pro-independence movements in its overseas territories. In that view, the Tein case is not only about a failed prosecution, but about how political pressure can be exercised through the language of law. In media interviews, Tein described his detention as deeply damaging, saying a year in solitary confinement was very, very hard. His lawyers called the original procedure an attempt to silence a politician. New Caledonia, also known as Kanak, has been under French rule since 1853 and remains on the UN list of non-self-governing territories, where independence demands have long shaped politics. That makes investigations against pro-independence leaders politically sensitive. For that reason, the case is also seen as a test of France's approach to its colonial legacy.